Imagine you are the Maker, a multiversal level intellect with megalomania and dissociative disorder. What do you do once you escape your imprisonment and you travel to a new world where it could be whatever you want it to be? This is, of course, Ultimate Invasion issue number 2, the birth of the new Ultimate Universe. Well, let's see here. The Maker goes to Asgard, stops Thor from becoming the king of Asgard, and breaks the Bifrost, effectively stopping the Asgardians from traveling to Midgard. He meddles with the launch of the Fantastic Four into the space and avoids them being hit by the cosmic storm, effectively stopping them from becoming the Fantastic Four. He stops Bruce Banner from becoming the Hulk, and also prevents, among other things, the people discovering Captain America in the ice. And because he is insane, he keeps a memory log and files of all the things he meddled with to basically mold this universe into what he wanted it to be. Now, one of the results of all of this meddling is that Howard Stark is still alive in this universe, and he is the Iron Man, and his right-hand friend and business partner, Obadiah Stane, is still alive. Obadiah and Howard, even though they're best buddies, they don't share the same philosophies when it comes to what they do. Howard just wants to be the engineer, the builder, the person that, pushes society into the future through his technology. And Obadiah is the businessman, the person that goes to the meetings, that cuts the deals. He goes to Latveria. And not only the Stark Industries are showing face in this big event, but you have basically the who's who. You have this universe's Immortal Hulk, which is basically a pacifist Hulk. You have the Silver Surfer, the Viper, and the Sunfire versions of this universe. They are 3 different clans that have basically unified the Pacific. You also have the Rasputins from this universe. They are here as a family in this universe, and they control also their portion of the world. All of these important people are here greeted in Latveria, in this dome inside the city, by the Maker. But before the pleasantries can begin, they are invaded by what it looks like a multitude of Avenger armies from the future. They're here specifically for the Maker, but they're not here to also avoid collateral damage. Obadiah Stane is the war machine, so he joins in the battle, trying to protect the city along with the Rasputins, the Immortal Hulk, and everybody else that we just talked about, right? While the Maker just stands there and watches the fight. Unfortunately, Obadiah's war machine armor is compromised, and he ends up exploding in the middle of the fight. And Howard is knocked out of cold while the fight continues to rage on, and he just passes away while everybody's just punching their way out of this conflict. When Howard wakes up, he is greeted by the Maker, and he says, hey, yeah, Obadiah is dead. Unfortunately, there's no time to grieve. There are other pressing matters here. The Maker reveals that all of those Avengers have been apprehended. They're in a lockup. The Maker explains to Howard that all of these are people from the future that came here to stop him. So here we are shown a couple of things before I get into it. There's no time travel in this universe besides what the Maker has done. You can tell because Howard, one of the most brilliant minds in the world, does not subscribe to the idea of cause and effect, where you go back in time, you stop somebody from becoming something, and then that changes the future, right? He doesn't believe it works like that. So the Maker decides to show Howard that he is wrong. He invites, it's a weird word to use here, a bunch of random civilians into the room. And he explains to Howard that all of these civilians are basically in the bloodline of all of those heroes that came from the future. So he murders all of those random civilians in front of Howard. And what happens to the heroes that came from the future? They disintegrate, they stop from existing right in front of Howard's eyes, which he does not take kindly to the Maker doing that, which he also expresses, hey, you know what you did, right? They're just gonna keep coming back. They'll do the same thing to you, so you can't do whatever you did to them in the future. But of course, the Maker explains that they cannot do that because he is not from this world. The moment he arrived into this world, he was already at full force. They cannot go back in time to stop him from becoming the Maker, essentially. So they move on from that. The Maker takes Howard to another room and he shows him his time machine, which he named the Immortus machine. Howard would like for the Maker to destroy the machine, but the Maker explains that even if he wanted to destroy it, he couldn't. He admits basically to Howard that this world is the way it is because of the Maker. Howard is a little bit more concerned about more possible attacks on the Maker, right? Because he's there too. He don't want to be collateral damage. That this is not going to be the first encounter. There are probably going to be more. And the Maker admits that this is not his first encounter with the future of this universe. It was the second. His first encounter was a couple weeks ago, and this is the result to that encounter. He almost lost his life. Side note, if you don't know this about the Maker, he is not dead, even though he's missing half of his face, because he can redistribute his vital organs throughout the body in multiple ways to avoid, being killed in just one shot like that. And he also has a healing factor, but it's slower than somebody like a Wolverine. The reason he has explained all of this to Howard is because he is missing part of his memory on what happened, how he came to be missing half his face. And the other reason is because he thinks he needs Howard to help him rebuild the machine. That is where issue number 2 stops. Essentially Howard being trapped into this situation where he has to absorb all of this information at once and also get to work on rebuilding a machine for some evil guy he never heard before, up to like maybe 24 hours ago. Pretty cool stuff.